Great. Hi, guys. Um, wow. Good afternoon. Today, we're just kind of playing and building on yesterday's practice about grounding and really tapping into that earth chakra that I talked about in yesterday's class. It's that chakra that is actually about 9 to 15 inches underneath of your feet. So just a quick little description of like the energy body. Your energy body, your auric field can be it can be as big as a house, really. It said that the Dalai Lama, you could feel his like vibe or his aura 3 blocks away from where he was because he just radiated at such this like big frequency. But for us, like typical humans, our energy body is about, hands width away, like outside of our bodies. And so a lot of us talk about the 7 major chakras, the ones that kind of ride up through your spine and then out through the crown of the head. But we have so many more chakras than that. And more specifically today, we're going to be talking about and really working on that earth chakra, which again is about 9 to 15 inches below your feet. So even when you're kind of walking around on the ground, it is literally in the earth. We'll also do a lot of focusing on our root chakra because that is one of the 7 major chakras. So be prepared to kind of really be grounding into your feet today. We'll focus a lot being like closer to the mat, tapping into that center of gravity, and just being present in our bodies. So the whole point of grounding is to be present, is to be in the body. When we're ungrounded, we're kind of flighty, we're in our heads, a little airy. I'm sure we all know those people that we would call ditzy or airy. It's usually just because they're not very grounded. So come to a seat. Let's start upright today. Your legs can be crossed. You can be in Virasana or Hero's pose, whatever's just comfortable for you in this moment. And close the eyes. And we're going to start focusing on our root chakra first. So that root chakra is the one that is at the base of your spine. So as you're seated here, kind of shift your torso back a little bit so that your shoulders are stacked over your hips. Oftentimes we're leaning forward when we're seated like this. So just shift backwards so you've got this nice long spinal column. And you can let the body just be soft here. Let the rhythm of the breath be natural. And bring all of that awareness right to the base of your spine, right to that Muladhara, that root chakra. And you can visualize a tap root kind of growing out through the base of your spine and just into the earth. For those of you who know anything about like plants, that first root that shoots out of a seed is the tap root. It's the strongest, it's the biggest, it's the one that's like searching to anchor the plant. So that's what we're focusing on, just visualizing your taproot, just anchoring you in to the earth and into this present moment. And coming back to the rest of the body, just noticing if you're feeling any discomfort or tightness or resistance in the body. Seeing if you can start to kind of slow down the breathing a little bit so the inhales and the exhales become equal. Maybe you can just set the intention for your practice to be grounded, to be present. And then you're going to go ahead and straighten your legs. Just bring them out straight in front of you if they're not already there. And then let's start to point and flex the toes, or point and flex the feet, I guess I should say. This, you're going to feel nice stretch through the hamstrings, through the tops of the feet, maybe through your shins. You'll feel the legs and the thighs engage, and just take a couple more. You can even start to draw circles with the ankles and the feet. And then finding stillness, really pressing through the heels, flexing the toes. This is our first like asana, or our first posture. So you may even want to take a little bend in the knees here. We're going to start with a forward fold. So on your inhale, you're going to reach both arms up overhead. And as you exhale, Hinge from the hips, guys. Lean forward. And then maybe you reach your toes. Maybe you don't. Maybe you're reaching for your shins or your knees, and that's okay. But continue flexing through your feet. Continue lifting through your heart, drawing the shoulders down away from your ears. And then exhale, move a little bit deeper into this seated forward fold. Now, remember that root chakra that you were focusing on? Now I want you to visualize this space about 9 inches below your feet. So kind of coming outwards at this point. And this is that earth chakra. So visualize these like seeking roots. So if you look at the base of a tree, you usually see the trunk, and then you see all these roots kind of like spreading outward, creating this wide base. So visualize these roots, these seeking roots, coming out through your feet and spreading out through the earth, really giving you a nice wide base foundation. So your tap root is anchoring you in, and now you have these additional roots that are really creating a nice, safe grounding space for you. Take a couple more breaths here in the seated forward fold, starting to feel the stretch across your lower back, maybe even your mid back if you're feeling pretty tight today. And just one more moment. Visualizing your roots spreading. Maybe they're spreading out wider than your mats. Maybe they're taking over your whole floor. And then inhale, let's come back center. We're going to take a quick twist here. So take a bend in the right knee, cross the right knee over the left. Inhale, lift the sternum, lift the heart, and let's exhale, let's twist to the right. So keep that left leg straight, keep the left toes flexed, and twist from the navel. So this isn't going to be your deepest twist, nor do we want it to be. We're just starting to kind of bring some awareness to our spine, to our organs, inviting the breath to rise up along the spine, inviting that energy being drawn up through your taproot. And then exhale, come center. You can unwind. And then we'll do that on the other side. So by keeping the toes flexed on the right foot, you're keeping that right leg active, keeping the energy drawing through you. Inhale, lift the heart and sternum, and exhale, you twist to the left. Again, you're twisting from the navel here. You're bringing awareness to those digestion organs. You're inviting the breath to move up through the spine, taking with it any blocks or stagnation. And drawing in this rooted earth energy. Inhale will come forward. And then take a bend in the knees. You can bring the soles of the feet to the mat first. And we're going to come right into a boat pose. A little bit of core work. So here we are. We've got that taproot really anchoring us into the earth. We have our seeking roots that are creating this wide foundation. So we should be feeling pretty stable right now. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Kind of squeeze the shoulder blades together like you would if you were closing your wings, if you had angel wings. Lift the sternum, lift the heart. Let's take straighten that left leg. So just the left leg is straight. Take that bent right knee and cross it over the left leg as if you were sitting in a chair. Your hands can be holding on behind the thighs. Your arms can be reached outward, or maybe you need a little bit of a kickstand here. Keep that left foot nice and flexed. You might be feeling this in like the top of the hip flexor or even the outer side of that left hip. Go ahead and unwind. Straighten that right foot and then cross the left knee over the right. This side's much harder for me, guys. And just notice, is this side easier or harder for you? It is exceptionally harder for me. Take a couple more breaths. Breathe into the challenge. Come back to that grounding sensation. One more moment here. And then exhale, come center. Go ahead and place your feet on the mat. Let your torso rest on your thighs and give that lower back and give your core just a little bit of a break. So now that we've built a little bit of heat, we're going to cross over the ankles, come right into a tabletop. And if you like, you can take a couple rounds of cat-cow here. So you can move with the breath, or personally, I like to stay for a couple rounds of breath and really feel the stretch. But this is your practice and your body, and it will tell you what it needs and what it wants. So continuing with waking up through that earth chakra and working the energy up through our legs, we're going to straighten that left leg, keep the toes tucked, and just shift your weight into your heel. So now we're going to be opening up through the sole of that foot. Think of reflexology when they hit different pressure points on your feet that affects different organs and meridian lines in your body. We're doing the same thing here, opening up the energy channels. Shift your weight forward so your shoulders are over your wrists. Take the left foot all the way to the right. I'm in a bush here. Keep the toes tucked and then bring the gaze over to the left foot over the right shoulder. Pressing through the heel and starting to feel a stretch for the outside of the left hip. Make sure that your right knee is stacked, your right hip is stacked over your right knee. Inhale, come center. Float that left foot in line with the hip. Take a bend in the knee and then just peel that hip open. Fire hydrant pose. So oftentimes we're going to want to dump our weight into that, well, it would be our right shoulder at this point. Try and keep your weight equal between your hands here. You're going to stay here with this knee bent for 5 breaths or move dynamically. So if you want to move, you're going to inhale, straighten that leg, and then exhale, bend the knee. Inhale, straighten the leg, exhale, bend the knee. 3 and 2 and 1 more. We'll all come back. Straighten that left leg back behind us. Find some extension. Keep pressing through the sole of the foot. And then inhale, draw the right hand into the equation, finding the length through the spine. Again, you're welcome to stay here if you want a little bit more core work and core stability. 5 times, elbow to knee on the exhale. Really anchoring into this grounding earth energy. You're close to the mat here. And after your 5th round, you'll come back to that extension. And then we're going to bend the left knee one more time, reach back with the right hand and the gaze, and come into a bind. Continuously lifting the knee as you kick the foot into your hand. One more breath here. And then exhale, come back to tabletop. You're welcome to take a couple rounds of cat-cow just to kind of equalize the body. Continue the energy moving through your spine. Then coming back to neutral tabletop, tuck the right toes, press through the heel, and start to open up through the bottom of that foot. You're also getting a nice stretch for your Achilles tendon and your calf here. Inhale, shift your weight forward so your shoulders are back over your wrists. You're going to take your right foot all the way to your left. Keep the toes tucked, press through the heel, bringing the gaze over the left shoulder at that foot. Take a peek. Make sure that that left hip is still on top of that knee and you're not winging out. Starting to feel a nice stretch for the outside of your right hip. Inhale, coming back center, taking a bend in the knee and then peeling the right hip open for fire hydrant pose. So you've got 5 breaths here, guys. You can move dynamically. Inhale, straighten that leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Or you can stay here, just lifting that hip and getting a stretch and building strength. 3 more breaths wherever you are. And then inhaling, coming back, bringing that right foot back behind you. And the left hand is in line with the shoulder. Again, 5 breaths here in stillness, working on core stability and strength, or drawing the elbow to the knee on the exhale. Your choice. 4 more rounds of breath. And then together we'll bend the right knee, reach back with the left hand for the bind, and then we continuously Lift the knee as we kick the foot into our hand. So I'm lifting my knee. I'm not like pulling on my foot here. One more breath. You can do it. Exhale, come back to tabletop. Take a couple rounds of cat-cow, and then we're going to pause for a moment in child's pose. And when you're ready, you'll sit back in either a wide kneed or a closed knee child's pose. You decide what's best for you. And then just come back to the breath, allowing your body to be soft, taking a rest here. Maybe visualizing your tap root anchoring into the core of the earth, and then your seeker roots giving you this nice, wide, secure foundation. Feel your roots spreading beyond your mat. Feel your roots spreading through the foundation of your building and into the topsoil of the earth. And then with each inhale, see if you can notice that subtle pulse of the earth energy being drawn up through your energetic roots. On your next in-breath, you're going to make your way to a downward dog. Keep your knees bent here. Equal weight between the shoulders, equal weight between the hands. And then very, very slowly, you're going to start to straighten both legs, drawing the navel inwards towards your spine and pressing through your heels. So it's okay if your feet or your heels are not touching the mat. Mine don't touch the mat. I'm okay with it. That's not the goal here. You're actively pressing through the heels, even if they're nowhere near the mat, giving the hamstrings a stretch, giving the lower back a stretch, feeling the breath rising along the spine, out through the crown of your head. And on the inhale, you're going to shift and lift the left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, the left knee comes towards the left elbow. Slide the knee to the wrist, back to the elbow, and then back to three-legged dog. This time the knee comes across the body, left knee, right elbow, down to the wrist, to the elbow, and then back to three-legged dog. Now we're bringing knee to nose. So exhale, bring the knee to the nose and round and hold. And we're going to spend 2 extra breaths here. Engage the core, round the back, just like you do in cat pose. Get high on the ball of that back foot. Inhale, come back, three-legged dog. Exhale, you're going to step that left foot in between the hands. Runner's lunge. Very nice, guys. Take a moment here in runner's lunge. Get yourself nice and set up. Get your foundation set. On your next inhale, you're going to keep your torso parallel to the earth. So stay parallel, but draw your arms to frame the ears. So now you're using your core and those larger leg muscles to hold you up as opposed to your hands and your arms. The next inhale, you're going to rotate your pelvis and come into a crescent warrior. High on the ball of the back foot, deep bend in that left knee. Reach the arms up overhead. Little back bend here, guys. Bring the hands together at prayer, and then the thumbs meet the back of the neck. Inhale, lift the heart and sternum, and exhale, the gaze goes up towards the sky. Draw the elbows away from you, opening up and broadening through the chest here. Feel yourself grounded. Feel that taproot keeping you stable. Inhale, find extension. Exhale, both hands to the earth. Take that left foot up and back, three-legged dog. Maybe you leave it raised, maybe you don't. Maybe you take a vinyasa, maybe you skip it. And we'll meet in downward dog. Let's take 3 breaths in down dog. My apologies here, guys. For that bloopers video that I'll be putting out eventually. So coming back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right foot up towards the sky. Exhale, right knee, right elbow, down to the wrist, down to the elbow, back to three-legged dog. Crossing the body. Right knee, left elbow, left wrist, left elbow, three-legged dog. Knee to nose, guys, and you round. So the trick here is to roll high on the ball of that standing foot, round through your shoulders like you do in cat pose, and bring the knee in as close as you can to the chest. Inhale back, three-legged dog. This time you're going to stuff that foot in between the hands, runner's lunge. Take a moment, get yourself set up here. When you're ready, keep the torso parallel to the mat. Inhale, draw the arms to frame the ears. Really feel those seeker roots kind of spreading out through your feet, giving you a nice foundation. Your taproot is keeping you rooted and stable. Inhale, rotate the pelvis, crescent warrior. Little back bend here, hands come to prayer. They meet at the back of the neck. You inhale, you lift your heart and sternum, and exhale, you deepen into the back bend, spreading the elbows, bringing the gaze to the sky. 3 breaths. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Take that right foot up and back. Maybe you move through a three-legged dog. Maybe you don't. We'll come back to downward facing dog. Three resting breaths here in down dog. Feeling the earth energy pulsing through the body. Coming back to those equal inhales and exhales. And then taking a bend in the knees, switching the gaze, and hop, step, or float to the top of the mat. Exhale, we're going to pause in a standing forward fold. So you're probably a lot warmer now than when we were doing this seated. So let's take our peace fingers, those are like the pointer finger and your middle finger, and wrap them around your big toes. We call this a yogi toe lock. And for some of you, you may need to bend the knees, and that's totally cool. Bend the knees. Go ahead, take a big inhale, feel the heart lift. And as you exhale, you're going to bend your elbows as well as you deepen into this forward fold. Again, it's okay if the knees are bent here. Actively start to straighten the legs until you find that edge. And you'll know when it's as far as your body wants to go. Feeling a big stretch for the soles of the feet, for your hamstrings, for your lower back, for your mid back, for across your shoulders. Feel yourself anchored and rooted into the earth here. Exhale, move a little bit deeper into this forward fold. Nice active forward fold here. And go ahead and loosen the grip from your toes. Take an inhale, bend the knees, drop your feet, lift the torso, chair pose. Tucking the tailbone, guys. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Anchoring down through the feet. Inhale, we come to standing. And exhale, we're folding forward. One more time. With a soft spine and a nice soft head and neck, you're going to roll up to a standing position. Take a moment, the eyes closed, when you get to standing to avoid any dizziness or vertigo. And let's just start with just a tree pose. And we're going to move into a couple more balancing poses, but we'll start with tree. So you can bring your right heel right to the inside of your left ankle. Draw your knee outward. So the knee is going to want to kind of point forward. Really use the strength of your thigh and the strength of your outer hip to open the knee up. If you're like, oh, I got that, you can slide your sole of your foot to your left calf. Again, same thing. Actively pull that right knee in line with your hips and then that left knee. If you're like, oh, I still got this, you can bring your sole of your foot to the inside of that thigh. Personally, I think this is easier than this. This, I feel really wobbly and unstable, but to bring my foot to my thigh feels much more stable for me. You can practice with any arm variation. We're going to be here for 5 breaths. And if you're like, Alex, I got this. I am stable today. I'm grounded. Close your eyes. Give it a shot. It changes the whole thing. I don't know if I can close my eyes today. You can be playful. All right. One more breath, guys, wherever you are. Really feel those like little muscles and little bones in your feet keeping you safe. And then go ahead and come out of it. And let's do that on the other side. So because the left and right side body are completely different, we'll take it step by step. Feel it out first. Make sure you're actively opening up through the left side like that inner groin. You can bring your sole to your calf. Again, I'm really wobbly on my calf there. Maybe it's just this side of the body. Yeah, definitely a little wobblier on this side of the body today. And then just come to where you're comfortable. And then let's find 5 breaths. And if you're really comfortable, close one eye. Maybe you close both. It really changes the whole practice. Great. And then exhale, come out of this. And shake it off. All right, we're going to take it a little bit deeper, just a little bit further. So let's ground back down through your left foot. And this time we're going to bring our right ankle on top of our left knee for a figure 4. Yeah, how you doing there? All right, let's bring the hands to prayer or at your waist. Either one of these is going to keep you the most stable. And then if you feel like you want to go deeper, you're going to bend into that left knee, just like you're coming into a chair pose. So we're kind of like in this one-legged chair pose with this figure 4. Yeah, how you doing? I'm gonna come to the side here. And then if you're feeling like really good and stable, start to bring your elbows. So your left elbow is gonna be kind of on top of your right foot here. And then your right elbow is gonna be right underneath of your right shin. And then the hands will come to the mat. Galandasana prep. So we're not going to come to the full arm balance today. This is as far as we'll take it. But just feel into this pose. One more breath. By the way, the full pose is kicking that left foot up into the air. It doesn't happen in my practice. And then to come out of it, you'll slowly come back to standing. We're going to take that right foot back behind us for a warrior 3 pose. Remember, you guys are grounded. You have all of these roots keeping you stable. So hold one more breath in warrior 3. And then we're going to come out of this and land in a crescent warrior. So you're going to bend your left knee, drop your right foot, lift the arms and torso, crescent warrior, and then move through your vinyasa. Hands are going to come to the earth. You can move through a 3-legged vinyasa with that left leg lifted. And we'll pause in downward facing dog. Let's take 3 breaths in down dog. Coming back to that equal inhale and exhale. Knowing that we've got one more balancing challenge ahead of us. Take a bend in the knees, switch the gaze, and hop, step, or float to the front of the mat. Exhale, you fold. And inhale with a nice soft head and neck, you'll come to a standing. Pause for a moment, avoid any vertigo. And then let's do that on the other side. So now your left ankle on top of your right knee. Create that figure 4. And you can be here if this is where you are in your practice today. This is exactly perfect. But if you want to go a little bit further, you can just start to bend into that right hip like a seated chair pose. Maybe this is where you are. But if you're like, I want to take this a little bit deeper, you're going to hinge forward. Again, your elbows are going to find like the ankle and the heel of that left leg. And then maybe you trust yourself to bring your hands to the mat. We're not going any further than this. Hold 3 more breaths. And then slowly you'll inhale with control, maybe, back up to standing, and then unwind into a warrior 3. Hold 3 breaths. Feel yourself grounded. Feel yourself stable. And then to come out of this, we land in Crescent Warrior. 1 breath in Crescent Warrior. Hands come to the earth. Step that right foot back. Maybe you take vinyasa, maybe you skip it. Either way, we're all going to meet in a nice restful child's pose. Rest here, guys. Let's make this a wide kneed child's pose. Let's start to get into the hips here. So big toes together, knees apart, make space for the torso. You can stack your palms, rest your forehead, and just breathe. Child's pose, you are literally on the earth. You don't need your muscles to hold you up. Be soft here, let the body rest. Feel the vibration of the earth energy. Even if you're on the 5th floor of an apartment building, you are still connecting to the earth. To be grounded is to be humble. It's to be close to the earth. It's to be in the present moment. It's to understand what is happening in your body, or at least feeling what is happening in your body. Starting to shift gears here a little bit, guys. Still really working with the legs and the hips, but we're going to start to slow it down a bit. So coming back to a downward dog, just for a breath. You're going to inhale, lift your left leg high up towards the sky, and exhale, we're coming through to pigeon pose. So left knee to left wrist, untuck the toes, and we're staying high in an active pigeon. So begin to walk your hands closer towards the torso. If you're feeling pretty open, maybe your palms will come under the shoulders. Let the pelvic region be soft and heavy. Let the belly be soft. Let go of any tension that you might be holding on to in that right glute, that right outer hip. Feel that root chakra, that Muladhara, anchoring back into the earth here. If you're feeling really stable, you can engage slightly through your glutes and then lift the arms up. Starting to feel that energy channel moving all the way up through you. Maybe if you're feeling really stable, you can take that little back bend variation here. One more breath wherever you are. And then your next exhale, you're coming forward, resting. Take a moment and just scan through your body. Start at your feet or start at your right foot and work your way up through your body. And just notice if you're kind of clenching or holding on to tightness or tension anywhere in the body. Sometimes we don't realize it until we bring awareness to that area. And you know what? We've got 12 more breaths here. Relax. If you want to go deeper in the pose, then kind of scoot that right foot kind of like further away from you, so back towards the edge of your mat. If you want to feel more energy moving up through your spine, you can walk your hands out in front of you, resting your chin on the mat or even your forehead. We've got one more breath here, guys. And then that next in-breath, you slowly start to walk your palms back towards your torso. You tuck your right toe. Be really mindful of the left knee as you lift the hips and take that left foot up and back for three-legged dog. We're going to bend the knee here and just peel that hip open. If you would like to be playful and try something different, we're going to come into Wild Thing. It's going to require a little bit of trust and a little bit of faith. But to come into wild thing, you're going to continue to follow that left foot all the way back behind you as you lift the heart and chest here. Taking a little back bend, a little heart opener, lifting the hips. And then exhale, you drop the right hip, you drop the left hand. You can come back to a three-legged dog and then maybe move through vinyasa. We'll meet back in downward dog. And then on the inhale, you lift the right leg. And then exhale, you're bringing it all the way through for pigeon pose. Staying active in a high pigeon. So yes, pigeon pose is definitely a hip opener. But when you're upright and active like this, it's also a back bend. You're applying some gentle compression to that lumbar spine. If you're taking that really active version and you're bringing the hands behind the heart and you're lifting the heart and chest, that's deepening into the back bend, that's getting into your thoracic spine. It's a lot of things, this pose. So just honor where you are. Take another active breath here. And then exhale, surrender into the pose as you come forward into the grounding, the hip opening, the introspective aspect of pigeon pose. We have 15 full breaths here, so take your time to settle in, scanning through the body, releasing, giving permission for tension to be let go. And having a quiet moment for yourself. Your next in-breath, you're going to bring yourself out of pigeon pose, tucking the toes of the left foot, lifting the hips, and coming back to a three-legged dog. Bend the knee and peel that hip open. So if you want to try wild thing on this side, you peel the hip open and you continue to let the foot kind of drop behind you. Lift the heart and chest. Take a nice big breath here. Feel the front of the body expand. And then to come out of it, you drop the left hip, you drop the right hand, and then maybe you move through a vinyasa. And we'll meet back in downward facing dog. So from your down dog, just kind of scoot your hands in so that your thumbs are almost touching. So you want your hands to be a little bit more narrow. Then we're going to bend the knees. And you're going to hop forward and your feet are going to be on the outside of your hands. So that's why you're bringing your hands together here. So bend the knees and then hop forward. And we find ourselves in Malasana, squat pose. All right, again, another really beautiful like grounding pose here. Our Muladhara, our roots, is literally like pointing down at the earth. Maybe your feet are flat, maybe you're on the balls of your feet. It doesn't matter, every way is perfect here. But feel that like earth chakra, like once below your feet, really spreading out. Feel those seeker roots really creating a wide foundation and feel yourself really anchoring in here. Bring your palms together. Use the backs of your arms, like behind the elbows here, to pull or to press the knees apart, deepening the stretch in the groin. Drop the shoulders away from the ears, lift the collarbones, lift the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades together. This is a big hip opener. This is a big heart opener. It's a grounding pose. Malasana. One more breath. Exhale, you're just going to drop your seat. Bring the soles of your feet together. And then we're coming forward one more time. So for this first one, I want your heels to be away from the groin. We're going to focus on the outer hips and the lower back here. So again, exhale, come forward. Keep dropping your shoulders away from your ears. Oftentimes we want to like hunch and be like this because we think as it gets us closer to the mat, it doesn't. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Think as if you have angel wings and you're drawing them together. You're closing your wings. That's what we're doing with our scapula. Use your breath. Exhale. Feel the diaphragm lift. Create that hollowing sensation and then hinge deeper into this forward fold. Use your in-breath and slowly start to walk your torso back upright. Taking this a little bit further, kind of working more on the inner hips and groin area, we're going to slide our heels closer to the groin. So for some of us, our knees are going to be up here, and that's okay. For others, if you're feeling a little bit more open today and you've got a little bit more space, try pressing the pinky sides of your feet together. So you're trying to open your feet like a book. This is going to help with the inner groin and the knees. I physically get my hands in there and like peel my feet open. Holding on. Some people, I think it's super uncomfortable, but some people like to intertwine their toes here. It doesn't do anything for me, but go ahead and give it a shot because why not? We can do whatever we want in our yoga practice. This is really weird for me, but you know, to each their own. Figure out what's going on with your feet, guys. Take an inhale, lift your heart, and then exhale, hinge forward. You might not be able to go as deep with your heels so close to the groin, and you're probably feeling a really big stretch right in here. For some of us, we also may be feeling it on the outer hips as well. 7 breaths here in this forward fold. Starting to slow down the breathing at this point. All that hard stuff is behind us. We're like moments away from Shavasana, guys. Just a few more moments. And with your next inhale, you lift the torso. The help of your hands, you bring the knees up towards the sky. And you can just find a little sway, a little rock of the hips. Straightening the legs out in front of you. And go ahead and scoot down towards the edge of your mat so that your heels are just hanging off the edge. Straighten your legs as much as comfortably possible. Flex your toes, draw them back towards your face. Engage your core here. You can even bring your hands out as if you're holding a cube. And with your exhale, with control, you're going to lower all the way to the mat. Your heels are going to move. That's why we scooted down on our mat. With control, there's going to be a part when you just want to drop. Keep it controlled. When the shoulder blades hit the mat, reach the arms overhead and take a full body stretch. Point and flex the toes, roll out the ankles, roll out the wrists. And then drawing both knees in towards the chest, pressing the sacrum in the earth. Maybe you find happy baby. Maybe you like to tilt and rock your pelvis. We've got about 5 exploratory breaths here. Releasing any pockets of just energy or tightness that may be happening in that pelvic region. And then with your next exhale, you're going to drop both knees over to the right for supine twist. Shoulders remain on the mat. The exhales are twice as long as the inhales. Just let the body be soft here. Inhale, bringing the knees center, and then exhaling right into the other side. Nice gentle supine twist, 5 breaths. And then inhaling center and gently making your way into Shavasana. Take your time to come into Shavasana. Allow your feet to be wider than your hips. And draw the shoulder blades down your back and let the arms be free from the body. Scan through the body. Just identify any areas of tightness or tension and consciously give them permission to soften. Coming back to your root chakra, that Muladhara, residing at the base of your spine. Coming back to your tap root as it's anchored deep within the earth. Feel the healing, grounding energy of the earth rising through your taproot and into your being. Come back to your earth chakra and those seeker roots, those foundational roots, as they spread out wide and far, giving you a nice, safe foundation, anchoring you into this plane, anchoring you into the present moment. With each in-breath, feel the energy of the earth being drawn in through your entire root system and absorbing into your physical body. Knowing that you are always connected to the earth, that these roots are always there. Gently invite them back into your being, knowing that you can access this earth energy at any point in your day. Slowly bringing that awareness back to your physical body and just noticing where your body meets the floor. Feel the texture of your mat under your skin. Feel the temperature of your environment. The rhythm of your heartbeats and the energy moving through you. Gently inviting some movement back into the body. It can be just the muscles of your face. It can be your toes and your fingers. This reawakening, this more grounded, connected version of yourself. Letting these movements become larger as you point and flex the toes and you roll out through your wrists. Drawing the knees back in towards the chest as you roll to your side body and reconnect with yourself. Reconnecting with this present moment. Allowing the eyes to be closed or add a soft gaze. And just gently bring yourself back up to a comfortable seat. The hands come together at heart center in a sign of gratitude. And in honor of all that there is and all that you are, namaste.